If you're over 60, I want you to hear something that may sound completely wrong at first. Drinking more plain water may not be enough to give aging skin what it needs. That doesn't mean water is bad for you. Your body needs it every day. But hydration alone cannot replace the collagen your skin gradually loses, restore its ability to hold moisture, or provide all the building blocks involved in keeping skin firm and resilient. Today, I'm going to show you 5 simple things you can add to what you drink each day. In one clinical trial described in the research behind today's video, 114 women between the ages of 65 and 80 were followed while researchers evaluated changes in their skin. The group receiving collagen-supporting compounds showed improvements in elasticity and hydration, as well as a reduction in the depth of wrinkles around the eyes compared with the placebo group. Now, that doesn't mean adding something to your water will magically erase decades from your face. And that's not what I'm promising you. What it does suggest is something far more useful. After 60, what you provide your body may matter just as much as how much water you drink. That's why we're counting these 5 additions down, from number 5 to number 1. The first is probably sitting in millions of kitchens right now. Another is a mineral most people have never associated with their skin, and one comes from a plant you've probably used on the outside of your body, without ever considering what researchers have studied about it from the inside. But number 1 is the reason I want you to stay with me. After I shared this simple approach with 10 older adults, about 7 told me they began noticing that their skin felt more hydrated, smoother, and less fragile with consistent use. But what surprised them most wasn't just the change they noticed. It was how simple the number 1 combination actually was. Before we continue, let me know in the comments. How old are you? And what change in your skin have you noticed most since turning 60? Dryness, wrinkles, thinning skin, or loss of firmness? And if you want more practical, easy-to-understand health information created specifically for adults over 60, subscribe to the channel. Now, before I reveal number 5, there's something important you need to understand. Why can someone drink plenty of water every day and still have skin that feels dry, thin, and less firm? The answer begins with 3 changes happening beneath the surface of your skin after 60. The first thing to understand is collagen. Think of collagen as the supporting framework underneath your skin. When you're younger, your body is constantly producing and renewing this framework. It helps give your cheeks firmness, your skin resilience, and that ability to bounce back after being stretched or pressed. But as you get older, collagen production gradually slows. At the same time, existing collagen continues to be damaged and broken down by normal aging, sun exposure, oxidative stress, and other factors. Eventually, your body may not replace collagen as quickly as it loses it. That's when changes become easier to see. The skin may become thinner. Fine lines can deepen. The cheeks may appear less full, and the skin around the jaw, neck, and hands may begin to look looser than it once did. The second change involves hyaluronic acid, a substance naturally present in your skin that has an extraordinary ability to bind and retain water. Imagine your skin as a sponge. Drinking water supplies the moisture, but hyaluronic acid helps that sponge hold on to it. As we age, the amount and distribution of hyaluronic acid in the skin change. So even if you're drinking enough water, aging skin may not retain moisture as effectively as younger skin. That's why some people over 60 tell me, I drink water all day, so why does my skin still feel dry? Because getting water into your body and keeping moisture within the skin are not exactly the same thing. And then we come to the third change. The one that makes the 5 additions we're about to discuss much easier to understand. Deep inside your skin are cells called fibroblasts. You can think of fibroblasts as tiny collagen factories. They help produce collagen and other components of the extracellular matrix that support the structure of your skin. Those factories don't simply disappear when you turn 60 or 70, but with age, fibroblasts can become less active and less responsive to the signals around them. And collagen production also depends on having the appropriate nutritional building blocks and cofactors available. So the goal isn't simply to pour more and more water into the system. It's to support the system itself. Once you understand that distinction, the rest of today's countdown begins to make much more sense. And we're going to start with perhaps the easiest addition of all, something inexpensive, familiar, and probably already sitting in your kitchen. Now let's begin with number 5. Fresh lemon juice. This may sound almost too simple, but there is a very specific reason lemon belongs here. Your body needs vitamin C to make collagen. It acts as a cofactor in the reactions involved in stabilizing newly formed collagen, including processes involving the amino acids proline and lysine. And lemon brings something else to the glass. Citrus fruits contain flavonoids, including hesperidin. These plant compounds are being studied for their antioxidant and vascular effects, making fresh citrus more interesting than simply thinking of it as flavored water. Think of Patricia, a 72-year-old retired librarian. She drank water throughout the day and had spent years buying different moisturizers. Yet she still felt that the skin across her cheeks looked thinner, duller, and less full than it used to. Instead of changing everything at once, Patricia began with one small morning habit. Before her coffee and breakfast, she squeezed half a fresh lemon into about 12 ounces of room-temperature water and drank it slowly. That was it. She didn't expect to wake up looking different after 3 days. And neither should you. Changes in skin structure take time. But after several weeks, Patricia felt that her skin looked less dull. By around 8 to 12 weeks, she described it as looking fresher and better hydrated. Her experience is only an illustration, not proof that lemon water reverses skin aging. The more important point is that the habit makes biological sense. Vitamin C is genuinely required for normal collagen synthesis, while the water itself continues to support overall hydration. If you want to try this, keep it simple. In the morning, squeeze about half a fresh lemon into 12 ounces of room temperature or comfortably warm water. You don't need sugar, honey, or an elaborate mixture. And lemon water does not need to replace your normal water intake during the rest of the day. There is also a simple way to build on this habit. Don't rely on one glass of lemon water as your entire vitamin C strategy. Later in the day, include vitamin C-rich foods such as strawberries, kiwi, bell peppers, broccoli, or citrus fruit. Your skin is supported by your overall diet, not by one magic drink. And if acidic drinks irritate your stomach, worsen reflux, or cause problems for your teeth, this may not be the right routine for you. You can still obtain vitamin C from food. Lemon is number 5 because it's accessible and easy to understand. But number 4 takes us somewhere most people never expect. Number 4 is something very different. Silica-rich mineral water. And if the word silica makes you think of glass, electronics, or industrial materials, you're not alone. But we're not talking about industrial silicon. We're talking about soluble forms of silicon naturally present in certain foods and mineral waters. Why does that matter for aging skin? Silicon has been studied for its role in connective tissue, including processes related to collagen formation and structure. Think back to the framework we discussed earlier. Producing collagen is important, but those fibers also need to form an organized, supportive structure. You can think of collagen fibers like the beams of a house. Having enough beams matters, but those beams also need to be properly connected and supported if the structure is going to remain strong. Some research has associated higher silicon intake with better measures of skin condition. Although the evidence is far less established than the evidence for something like vitamin C, so silica shouldn't be treated as a miracle collagen builder. This becomes especially interesting after 60 because silicon levels in the body and dietary patterns can change with age. That means simply drinking more plain water doesn't necessarily provide meaningful amounts of this trace mineral. The simplest approach is to look for mineral water that naturally contains silica and drink around 500 milliliters, or roughly 16 ounces, during the day. Check the mineral analysis on the bottle, because mineral waters can vary considerably in their silica content, If silica-rich mineral water isn't available, some people consider supplements containing bioavailable forms, such as orthosilicic acid. But this is where I would be more cautious. Especially after 60, don't assume that more is better. If you're considering a concentrated supplement, particularly if you have kidney problems or take several medications, discuss it with your healthcare professional first. And there's another reason I wanted silica on this list. Collagen isn't built from one nutrient alone. Silica may support the structural process, but your body still needs amino acids to build the collagen itself. One of the most abundant amino acids in collagen is glycine, so if you use silica-rich mineral water, consider pairing your overall diet with glycine-containing protein foods. Gelatin and slow-cooked connective tissue-rich foods are examples, and we'll talk about one particularly interesting option later in this countdown. Remember the principle we're building here. Number 5 gave us vitamin C, an essential cofactor for normal collagen formation. Number 4 introduces a trace mineral associated with connective tissue structure. But number 3 changes the story completely, because the next addition doesn't come from a mineral or a fruit. It comes from a plant that millions of people already keep in their homes, and most people only think about using it on their skin. Number 3, aloe vera inner leaf gel. Most people over 60 know aloe vera as something you put on the outside of your body. You may have used it after spending too much time in the sun or to soothe irritated skin. But certain purified aloe products are also made for consumption. And one reason researchers have been interested in them is a compound called ocimanonon. Remember the fibroblasts we talked about earlier? These are the cells in your skin involved in producing collagen and maintaining the extracellular matrix. As skin ages, fibroblasts can become less active and less responsive. So supporting collagen isn't simply about giving your body more water. The activity of the cells responsible for maintaining that structure matters too. Laboratory research has explored whether compounds in aloe, including ocimanonon, can influence fibroblast activity and collagen-related processes. Small human studies of oral aloe have also reported changes in measures such as skin elasticity and collagen. Although the evidence is still limited and shouldn't be interpreted as proof that aloe can reverse skin aging. This is exactly why Eleanor found the idea so interesting. Eleanor was 76, a retired physician, and initially skeptical. She had spent her career asking for evidence, so she wasn't interested in trying something simply because it was described as natural. Instead, she treated it like a personal 12-week experiment. She took photographs before starting, kept the rest of her skincare routine relatively consistent, and used a purified inner leaf aloe product regularly. Several weeks passed without anything dramatic. But when Eleanor compared her photographs at the end of 12 weeks, she felt the texture of her skin looked healthier, and some areas appeared better hydrated. She didn't claim that her wrinkles had disappeared. What interested her was that the difference seemed noticeable enough to continue the habit. And that's the right way to think about aloe vera. Not as a miracle treatment, but as an intriguing addition with some early research behind it. If you decide to try it, however, one detail is extremely important. Do not simply cut open an aloe plant and blend the entire leaf into your water. The yellow latex found beneath the outer portion of the leaf contains anthraquinone compounds, including aloe, which can have strong laxative effects and cause gastrointestinal problems. Look specifically for a food-grade product labeled Purified, Decolorized, or inner leaf aloe intended for oral consumption. The routine described here uses roughly 2 tablespoons mixed into 8 to 10 ounces of water once daily. If you take medications or have digestive or kidney problems, check with your healthcare professional before making oral aloe a regular habit. Some protocols also pair aloe with dietary vitamin E because vitamin E contributes antioxidant protection. But there's no need to automatically add a high-dose supplement. Foods such as almonds, sunflower seeds, avocado, and certain vegetable oils can provide vitamin E as part of your normal diet. So far, we've moved from vitamin C to silica. and now to compounds associated with fibroblast activity. But number 2 takes a completely different approach. Instead of focusing primarily on helping the collagen-making process, it gives your body something much closer to the raw material itself. And you've probably eaten it before without realizing what happens to it after it reaches your digestive system. Number 2, bone broth. And this one is different from everything we've discussed so far because instead of focusing mainly on vitamins, minerals, or plant compounds, bone broth can provide amino acids and gelatin derived from collagen-rich connective tissue. When bones, cartilage, skin, and connective tissue are simmered for hours, some of their collagen breaks down into gelatin. Once you consume that gelatin, digestion breaks the proteins into amino acids and smaller peptides that your body can absorb and reuse. 2 amino acids you'll hear repeatedly in this conversation are glycine and proline because they are abundant in collagen. But here's where things become especially interesting. Research on hydrolyzed collagen peptides suggests that certain absorbed peptides may do more than simply provide raw material. They may also act as biological signals associated with fibroblast activity and collagen synthesis. Think of it this way. You're not simply delivering bricks to a construction site. Some collagen peptides may also act like a message telling the construction crew that repair work is needed. That's one reason collagen-rich foods and collagen peptide supplements have attracted so much attention in research on aging skin. Bone broth may also contain varying amounts of other components from connective tissue, along with minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. The exact amounts, however, depend heavily on the bones, cooking method, and preparation time, so you shouldn't assume every homemade broth contains a therapeutic dose of each nutrient. Let me give you an example. Thomas was 79 and originally became interested in bone broth for an entirely different reason: his joints. His knees had become increasingly stiff, especially first thing in the morning, and he wanted an easy protein-rich food he could incorporate into his routine. So Thomas began drinking about 1 warm cup of bone broth each day. He wasn't watching his face. But several months later, his wife was. One morning, she looked at his hands and asked if he'd changed something. She thought the skin across his hands and forearms appeared less dry and fragile. Later, she also commented that his face seemed a little fuller and healthier. Now, Thomas's story doesn't prove that bone broth caused those changes. Individual experiences can be influenced by diet, hydration, sun exposure, skincare, and many other factors. But it illustrates something important. The same collagen-related building blocks we associate with joints are also relevant to skin. If you want to make bone broth at home, the process is simple. Although it requires patience, use collagen-rich beef or chicken bones and connective tissue, cover them with water, and simmer gently for many hours. Some recipes add a small amount of apple cider vinegar. After cooking, strain the broth, refrigerate it, and remove excess hardened fat if desired. Then reheat about 1 cup when you're ready to drink it. You don't have to simmer it for exactly 12 or 24 hours to receive nutritional value, and adding vinegar doesn't magically turn broth into a collagen treatment. The final collagen and mineral content varies considerably from batch to batch. If homemade broth isn't practical, another option is hydrolyzed collagen peptide powder, dissolved in a beverage. Unlike homemade broth, a standardized product makes it easier to know how much collagen protein you're actually consuming. And there's one more simple addition you can make to your broth: fresh ginger. Ginger contains compounds such as gingerols and shogols that have been studied for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. So while the broth supplies protein and collagen-derived amino acids, ginger adds plant compounds that may help support the broader environment in which healthy tissue is maintained. But bone broth is still only number 2. Because number 1 takes the collagen peptide idea and combines it with something completely different. And when you understand what each one is doing, you'll see why I saved this combination for the very end. Number 1. Hydrolyzed marine collagen peptides and cold-brewed green tea. One provides collagen-derived peptides. The other provides plant compounds that have been studied for their effects on oxidative stress and the processes involved in collagen breakdown. Let's start with the first half. Marine collagen. Marine collagen is generally derived from fish skin, scales, and connective tissue, and it is particularly rich in type I collagen. Why does type I matter? Because type I is the predominant collagen found in human skin. It forms part of the structural framework that helps give skin its strength and firmness. But when you consume collagen, your body doesn't simply take an intact collagen fiber and move it directly into your face. It has to be broken down. That's why we're talking specifically about hydrolyzed collagen. Hydrolysis breaks collagen into much smaller peptides that can be digested and absorbed more readily. Research on oral hydrolyzed collagen has reported improvements in measures such as skin hydration and elasticity in some participants after consistent use for several weeks. Researchers are also interested in whether certain collagen-derived peptides may influence fibroblast activity. So marine collagen gives us the first side of the equation: collagen peptides and their constituent amino acids. But that's only half of number one. The second half is cold-brewed green tea. Green tea contains a family of plant compounds called catechins, and the one you may have heard about most often is EGCG. EGCG has been extensively studied for its antioxidant properties. In laboratory research, green tea compounds have also been investigated for their effects on pathways associated with oxidative stress, inflammation, fibroblast behavior, and matrix metalloproteinases, or MMPs. Remember MMPs. These are enzymes involved in remodeling the extracellular matrix, including the breakdown of collagen. Excessive activity associated with aging, UV exposure, and oxidative stress can contribute to deterioration of the collagen framework. So now, look at what happens conceptually when these two ingredients are placed in the same routine. Marine collagen provides peptides and amino acids associated with collagen. Those peptides may also provide signals relevant to fibroblast activity. Green tea provides EGCG and other catechins that help defend against oxidative stress and are being studied for their influence on pathways involved in collagen maintenance. One side is about supplying. The other is about protecting. And that's what makes the pairing more interesting than either ingredient simply being another flavor added to your water. Vivian understood this distinction better than most. She was 73 and had spent much of her life as a concert pianist. Her face carried decades of expression, performances, laughter, difficult years, good years, and countless hours spent living rather than worrying about wrinkles. What bothered her was something much more personal. "I still feel like myself," she said, "but sometimes I look in the mirror and don't recognize the person looking back." Her skin had become noticeably thinner and drier. The area beneath her eyes looked more hollow, and the definition she once had along her jaw had softened. So, each morning, she mixed about 12 grams of hydrolyzed marine collagen peptides into approximately 12 ounces of cold-brewed green tea. At 4 weeks, she wasn't claiming a transformation. But she said her skin seemed to feel a little less dry. By 8 weeks, she felt the texture had changed enough that she wanted to continue. And over the following weeks, what mattered most to Vivian wasn't whether every wrinkle disappeared. They didn't. It was that when she compared photographs taken months apart, she felt her face looked healthier, better hydrated, and more like the person she still felt herself to be. At the end of her experiment, she described it in 4 words: "I recognize myself again." That's the real point of this entire countdown. Not turning 73 into 33. Not being ashamed of wrinkles, and certainly not promising that one drink can reverse aging. It's about understanding what aging skin needs and giving your body reasonable nutritional support instead of expecting plain water to do every job by itself. If you'd like to try this particular routine, preparation can be straightforward. Cold brew your green tea overnight in the refrigerator. In the morning, pour about 12 ounces and mix in approximately 12 grams of hydrolyzed marine collagen peptides. Then give it time. Don't evaluate your skin after 3 days. Studies of oral collagen typically examine consistent intake over weeks. so think in terms of at least 8 weeks rather than expecting an overnight result. And remember that marine collagen comes from fish. Anyone with a fish allergy should avoid it. And if you have medical conditions, dietary restrictions, or take medications that could interact with concentrated green tea products, discuss the routine with your healthcare professional. There is one final optional piece, sometimes discussed alongside collagen: grape seed extract. It contains compounds called proanthocyanidins that have been studied for antioxidant effects and interactions with connective tissue. You can think of the idea metaphorically this way. If collagen peptides provide some of the bricks, and the biological processes in your skin are the builders, protective compounds help create an environment where the structure can be maintained. But don't turn this into a kitchen full of supplements. The most important lesson isn't that you need to buy 5 products tomorrow. It's that healthy-looking skin after 60 depends on much more than simply drinking more water. And that brings us to the final, and perhaps most important, message of this video. Aging skin is not something you need to fight or be ashamed of. But understanding what changes after 60 gives you the opportunity to care for your body more intentionally. Start small. Choose one habit that feels realistic, stay consistent, and pay attention to how your body responds. You don't need to try everything at once. And remember, the goal isn't to look 30 again. It's to help your skin look and feel as healthy as possible at the age you are today. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments, which of these 5 additions would you be most interested in trying? Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.